we have to create opportunities for people to do what they're called to do. If there's one thing that we're really trying to counteract as a church, or break, a curse we're trying to break, whatever you want to call it, is this idea that the church is a paid staff, a clique, and everybody else, they're just participants. It's just the audience.
Right.
No, that's not the New Testament church. That's not what Jesus implemented in his instructions to the disciples. We're to make disciples. Each person has a role, and no role is greater than the other. We've all got to do this together. Everybody has to be involved, and we've got to create opportunities weekly for people to find their purpose, fulfill it, and find a place to serve, even if it's once a month.
So it sounds like you're saying once someone joins Abba's house, joins our family, they can be ready to serve. Is that an accurate statement? How would you know when you're ready to serve and use your gifts?
Excellent question. You know, I think the enemy works overtime with guilt and shame on all of us. And so when someone comes into the church, I think automatically most people feel like they're not worthy.
Right.
They're not good enough. So I've got to break that off. People from the pulpit, they have to receive that grace, and they have to understand that God never used anybody that was perfect. In fact, he usually picked screw-ups to do his greatest works through. And so people have to understand that. And then once they understand that, they really have to step out in faith. Everything happens by faith, and they have to say, you know what, I'm called to do this. I'm going to give this a shot. Even if there are only 2 people that support me, even if I feel like I'm doing this alone, I know God's called me. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to put my hand behind the plow. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to believe that God's going to bring my harvest, and just really go for it and be okay with failing. Because if God called you to do it, even if you fail or you don't finish it, God has purpose in that. There's something God's trying to teach you in that process. You know, I don't think anything just happens. I think Romans 8:28, all things work together for the good for those who are called according to his purpose. So even stepping out in faith and falling on your face, I believe there's purpose in that. I've done it many times. If nothing else, you just learn. You learn, hey, don't do that this way. Try it a new way, you know. And the coolest thing I believe about our generation, X, millennial, I really believe we allow failure better than previous generations. And some would say we're okay with failure or complacency. I don't agree with that. I truly believe that we're not okay with it, but we make room for it to get better. You know, you think of all of the people from our generation that have designed apps that have made millions, or social media networks, or whatever it may be. You know, how many times did they fail trying to create something before it truly came to fruition? So I believe the Christian life's the same way. I mean, sometimes you have to fail, fall, get up, you know, and then in the midst of that, you become the person that God wants you to be.